All right, we are back with another pick'em video, and yesterday got a lot of love in terms of the comments for how we're doing MLB videos now, which is, if you didn't see yesterday's video, we're going through each individual game and kind of breaking down the pitcher matchups, hitter matchups, historical data, laying it out all on the screen for you guys, and then going to go over, some best bets at the end of this thing. We gave out 6 yesterday, and 4 of them hit. Shota Imanaga, just unfortunate there, rain delay, had 5 runs on the board, but only one of them was earned run. He had 6 Ks. He was well on his way to his fantasy score, but yeah, just gets pulled after that rain delay. Only 69 pitches in that. We had another instance in the Discord as well. We went to Jack Flaherty, same thing, not rain delay. He must have gotten hurt because he only went 5 innings, 60 pitches, 0 earned runs, only 2 hits allowed. It gets pulled after 5 innings. We needed literally 1 more out to cash his fantasy score and to cash a big slip in the Discord. So that's unfortunate. And then the other miss was CJ Abrams, and he had literally multiple opportunities with runners in scoring position. He already had a hit and just couldn't get there for us. We needed another hit run or an RBI. So he hooked us on that one. But overall, really good reads. And again, I'm seeing the board really well when we break these all down. Hopefully you guys are picking up winners along the way as we look at all these stats. And yeah, that's kind of the name of the game. So if you're new around here, definitely go ahead and subscribe. Leave the video a like, comment something down below. We're going to go through every game or as many as I can. Going to start with the early ones, kind of go through those a little bit quicker. There's a game that starts at 1:35 p.m. Eastern time, so that one's a little bit early. But we're going to focus on the later slate of games just so more people can see and take advantage of the stats. But yeah, do all that good stuff, and let's just jump right into it. All right, so let's jump into the desktop screen here. We're going to be using a data app called Outlier. You can check it out for a free week. You're going to see how powerful it is throughout this video. But yeah, you can't really beat a free week. Use my link in the description. Just lets them know that I sent you there. And this is like the games tool or the games tab. This is the props tab, which we're going to look at, which is player props. And you get an overview, quick overview, color-coded with all the hit rates of money lines, spread totals, all those things. But I'm going to click into the match details for each one of these. We can go over the starting pitchers for each team. We're going to look at the batting matchups versus left-handed pitching, right-handed pitching versus the specific pitcher if there's any history there, and kind of break it all down each individual game. But first, I wanted to mention how many good hitter matchups there are today. Just using this website, I'm not affiliated at all, but I think it's free. You can just go in here and check it out. But yeah, tons of good hitting matchups, especially against Patrick Corbin. Some people call it Patrick Corbin Day. I will say his last start was pretty solid, but he's usually a guy that has a long leash and lets up a lot of hits. And especially against this Mets team, you see Pete Alonso, Marte, Lindor, all hitting this guy above 300, all with multiple home runs almost, and a lot of history. So if you want to stack some Mets players, I would not mind that. Look at Adley Rutschman versus Jose Barrios. Also, McCann and O'Hearn right down here, hitting him really well. Adley Rutschman is 12 for 19 with 3 home runs, 2 doubles, and 7 singles against this guy, batting .632. That's wild. And then I also want to mention, this is the early game, but Marcell Ozuna versus Nick Pivetta, 6 home runs against this guy is wild. 308 still solid batting average. But yeah, he's hit this guy. 6 home runs against one dude is wild to think of. But yeah, wanted to point this out. Few hitter matchups. If you see anything on the screen here, I'll scroll down a little bit. These are all the guys hitting home runs. And then sometimes I just like to go to hits, see how many hits there are. Anyone popping off. Obviously, Adley Rutschman getting 12 hits in 19 at-bats is absolutely insane. You keep going down. Jose Ramirez versus Brady Singer. All these different types of things. It's a great way to look at some batters that have good history against certain pitchers. And yeah, good place to start for hitters especially. All right, so let's move along to the first game here. 1:35 start for the Braves and the Red Sox. Not going to spend too much time on it just because it's the earlier game. Not a lot of people are going to be able to watch this and already play it because it's already being played. But yeah, -108 on both sides for FanDuel. If I had to lean one way, I'd probably lead Atlanta's side just because their offenses looked a little bit better than Boston lately. Obviously, no Ronald Acuna, but they did just put up 8 runs or 7 runs on Boston yesterday, and that was against Cutter Crawford. And now today they get Nick Pivetta, who already played them earlier in the year, and he got shelled, 5 earned runs. We'll break that down right now. But yeah, that's the reason I'm kind of leading Atlanta's way. If you want to get on the Boston side of things, you'd have to talk yourself into Spencer Schwellenbach being the inferior pitcher here because he's a rookie. Only pitched 5 innings so far this year. But yeah, I think I'm leaning Braves side of things as a Boston guy, so that's kind of saying something. But here's Nick Pivetta. Again, pretty solid outings on some of these occasions, striking a whole bunch of people out, and then other times he's not striking anyone out. This is the Atlanta matchup. 1 strikeout in that game, only went 4 innings, so got 12 outs. So if you want to be looking at something like a fantasy score, yeah, it's a 0 fantasy score in that game, as opposed to doing pretty well on a lot of other starts. So I can't really get behind Nick Pivetta, especially when you're looking at these batting averages against him. We already talked about Ozuna, 5 home runs. It might be 6 even, because this is to 2018. I think the other one goes a little bit farther back. But yeah, Ozuna, 375 batting average. That's pretty good. Some other solid batting averages for Duvall in 9 at-bats. So if you wanted to stack some Braves hitters, I wouldn't mind that either. Against right-hand pitching, I will say Ozuna takes a tiny bit of a hit to his normal average of 313 to 302. That's not enough for me to, fade off that. So Ozuna's probably my favorite hitter in this entire game. And let's take a look at really quickly at Schwellenbach, however you say that. 5 Ks against the Nationals in his first start. Now he's got the Red Sox, who strike out a decent amount, and one of the worst at striking out in the league. So if that's something you want to take a flyer on for plus money, I definitely don't mind that. I already picked up 5. I'm not sure if this guy's a big strikeout guy, just because we haven't seen much of him. But hey, going up against the Red Sox strike out a lot, especially to right-handed pitching the last 30 days. So yeah, if you want to take a look at that, I wouldn't mind at all. And then I want to quickly do this for each matchup too. I'm in the Red Sox versus Braves tab here. I've got minus 145 to plus 120 value. And I'm just gonna kind of scroll through here, and you guys can, see if you see any cool hit rates. This is the last 20 games head-to-head, 2024 as a whole, last 10, last 5. And you can kind of break these down. The ones that kind of pop off the page to me, Connor Wong, who started off the year really hot, has been, not getting this total bases line at all, really. Lately, he also takes a little bit of a hit to right-handed pitching. Same thing for maybe Adam Duvall, takes a really big hit to right-handed pitching. Does have a decent history against Pivetta, but I wanted to point all these out. So I guess I'll scroll for these matchups as well, just to give you guys even more data. All right, so moving along to the Cardinals and the Astros. This is the next game of the day, and I'm definitely leaning Astros on this one in terms of the money line. Obviously, a little bit juiced here, but you can convince me on the runs line here at minus 1.5 for Houston. I like their pitcher a lot better today, and obviously their offense has been incredible. The Cardinals have also been really good, especially against right-handed pitching. But yeah, for the Astros, I'm going to take them probably minus 1.5 for plus 125 value. I think that's a solid play if you wanted to look at that. Now, for Blanco, I have a player prop. I think this is going to be one of our plays for the day. Over 5.5 Ks is where I'm landing on this one, because the Cardinals strike out a decent amount. 24th ranked in terms of K percentage over the last 30 days, 25th ranked in terms of K percentage for the entire season, and 60% hit rate for Blanco, getting over this line for the year. So I don't mind that. There's no specific data I can go off of, but seeing that the Cardinals strike out a lot, I definitely like that. I was kind of between that or his outs or maybe his fantasy score, but you can see kind of right here, the Twins kind of batted him around, only got 14 player outs in the last game, and he did get his Ks, so that's enough for me to kind of definitely land on the Ks here. This is like minus 125, minus 130 juice, so taking it over on PrizePicks is definitely an option here. I think that's a great play, great value for a fixed payout system on PrizePicks, and that's the way I'm going to play him today. Over on the Miles Mikolas side of things, I actually have an underdog play for him. Earned runs. This is the last matchup against the Rockets, the Astros here. This was last year, but he did get hit around a decent amount. Some of these guys have done some decent history against him, and that's enough for me to say, hey, 2.5 of his earns run line over on Underdog, minus 136 value. Oh, looks like it just got taken off. Yeah, that's why you gotta act fast. But that would have been great value for us at 2.5 earned runs. Great look there. But even if you want to take a flyer at him, if it goes up to 3 or whatever, I think that's still a pretty solid spot for him. Maybe his under fantasy score is something I was looking at. This is for Blanco. Let's go to Mikolas. Under fantasy score was also something I was looking at. Again, he's been hit or miss, doesn't really crush his fantasy score very often. So you could run it out that way if you wanted to be on PrizePicks for this one. That should be available still. If you want to look at Mikolas and see his fantasy score, maybe take the under on that. That could be something you could do right there. And then even if you want to get crazier, combo it up with maybe Alvarez or something, someone who's been hot for the Astros. Maybe take his fantasy score for a nice little correlated slip over there. That's something we could do. Not sure if that's going to be a video pick, but just an idea. All right, then real quickly, take a look at the hit rates the last few games. This is the last 20 games. You see all the hit rates right over here. There's Miles Mikolas at the 2.5 earned runs line. I wish I got that into Underdog. But yeah, just take a look at these. Maybe if these find you some winners, great. All right, so let's go to the Reds and the Rockies now. 3:10 start, getting a little bit later in the day. And we got an 11.5 total runs line here, which is super high, but it does starts making sense when you look at the pitchers. Dakota Hudson on the mound for the Rockies, 5.02 ERA, 1.48 WHIP. On the Cincy side of things, Ashcraft, which is a horrible name, 4.76 ERA, 1.45 whip. So if you're looking at some batters today, it would probably be in this game. I think there's some opportunity. I think we're going to talk about a guy that I want to go to in this one. But yeah, if you want to look at a money line here, I don't know if I'm leaning kind of both ways. I don't know if I have a perfect lean here. If you have, gun to my head, I'd probably take Cincinnati just because they won both the games, and the Rockies bullpen is trash. But Dakota Hudson did pitch pretty well against the Dodgers his last start, and the Reds' offense, I'd say, is worse than the Rockies' offense, especially the last 30 days. So let's take a look at these two guys. 6.5 is their hits allowed lines for both of these guys. Again, that is a lot of offense. I'm probably not taking the over on either one of them. You could maybe convince me of taking the under for Dakota Hudson, except it is pretty juiced here because he's only gone over that for one time. But yeah, the Reds' offense a little bit worse the last 30 days. 17th ranked for batting average and K percent and all these certain types of things. And then on the Reds side of things, on the Rockies side of things, they're much better, third ranked the last 30 days in batting average. So their offense has been probably better, not in this series, but overall the last 30 days. Which is why you can almost start convincing me of the Rockies. But you have to get over that bullpen, which is the worst in the league for the Rockies. So again, kind of leaning Cincy side of things. In terms of a player prop, I do like a Reds player. He bats third. I forget who I got up here. Oh yeah, Candelario, 1.5 total bases. This is juiced on the over. Great value on something like PrizePicks. It's also available on Underdog right now. I want to show you the juice right now. Right here, Candelario, minus 137 on Pinnacle, minus 135, pretty much everywhere else. So in an offensive loaded game, a guy that bats third who has been playing really well, I definitely don't mind taking that. You could start convincing me about Elly De La Cruz, but he's just been too bad lately. I definitely take the flyer on Candelario more than De La Cruz. But again, a lot of offense, and that's the batter that I want to back in this one. And then again, here's some hit rates. If you're a big hit rates guy, again, Elly De La Cruz I want to get to, but he's just not been hitting his fantasy score and all that different types of stuff. So if this, find any winners in here, you can definitely pause the video or anything if you want to see any of these. But yeah, just good hit rates if you want to be looking at certain guys in this matchup. All right, so next up we got the Giants and the Diamondbacks. 340 start for these two teams. One team been struggling. The Giants have lost 6 straight, it looks like, while Arizona's won 4 straight. With that said, I kind of lean the San Francisco side of things just because, again, I like their pitcher a little bit more. But both these pitchers that are going up against these teams have really good history against the batters. So we could see a low-scoring game. Maybe you convince me of a minus or under 8.5 for the runs total is a potential lean as well. So let's go into the pitchers. Jordan Montgomery going out for the Arizona Diamondbacks. I was looking at his over pitching outs. We see he did play San Francisco last game, not last game, but earlier in the year, really early in the year, April 19th, and Arizona won that game 17-1. So Montgomery did his job, as you can see over here. Batters don't hit him very well, other than maybe a few, but versus left-handed pitching, they do hit really well. So that's why I'm kind of staying away from Montgomery, especially the last 30 days. Excuse me. If you want to look down right here, you see last 30 days, they're 6th ranked in terms of batting average towards left-handed pitching. So that does scare me a little bit, where Jordan Montgomery has been, someone that gets knocked around a little bit sometimes as well. You can see he's got a 3-3 record, 5.48 ERA, and then his whip is 1.56, which is super high. If he didn't have this great start against them early in the year, I'd probably be definitely leaning towards San Francisco, but Montgomery, again, does have a decent history against this team. And then similar for Jordan Hicks, who's been much better all throughout the year in terms of his numbers, 2.7 ERA. His whip is a 1.11, so again, right off the numbers, it's looking really good. I'm taking his under 2.5 earned runs, I think. Again, nothing's totally certain until the end of the video, but his earned runs, 2.5. I'm looking at the under here. I think the advantage in terms of offense is on the San Francisco side of things. So Arizona, who has won 4 straight games, I'm still riding the under here. Last 13 days, 15th ranked, middle of the road in terms of batting average towards right-handed pitchers. So that's something that I kind of want to look at. So Hicks on the under ERA is kind of my biggest lean on this game. I don't have a big lean on any sort of hitters because they haven't hit him very well. Maybe if you want to look at some unders for these guys, I wouldn't mind that either. All right, so let's go to the hit rate screen right here. We see Jock Peterson under 0.5 runs. That's been pretty much a wagon. I don't mind that, especially going up against Jordan Hicks. But yeah, both these starting pitchers have pitched really well against these individual batters. So, maybe sort of unders on some batters I wouldn't mind. But yeah, here's some hit rates. All right, so now we got the Mets and the Nationals here. 4:05 start in this one. Minus 1.5 run spread for the Mets at plus 112 money is something I'm already interested in just because the Nationals are pitching Patrick Corbin today. You see his numbers. 5.83 ERA, 1.66 whip, and the history against this Mets team is ridiculous. We talked about it at the beginning of the show, but let's just hop into it right now. So Patrick Corbin, the first thing I was looking at was like his hits allowed. He gives up a ton of hits. He's got a huge leash, but he's been a little bit better recently. Then I was looking at his outs, which is under 17 and a half on a decent amount of places. It was on Underdog. I think it just got taken off, unfortunately. But yeah, let's just quickly look at the history against this guy. How about everyone in the green? Lindor, 35 at-bats, 314 batting average, 2 home runs, 3 RBIs. How about Pete Alonso? 44 at-bats, 5 home runs, 318, 9 RBIs. Let's keep it going. Marte, 324, 1 home run, 6 RBIs. I mean, you just see it. It's everyone's green, and I think this guy's just going to get crushed like he usually does against almost everyone. I will say he has started off games a little bit better recently. You can see the earned runs are down from the beginning of the year, but this is a team he's got a lot of history against. You see the ERA versus this team specifically is probably pretty high. 8 earned runs in the last matchup. That was back in September of last year. So they got history. I think Patrick Corbin probably gets knocked around like he usually does against this team. And I'm taking a Corbin bet over on PrizePicks. Potentially, again, these are leans. Maybe you look at a Yurfie. Maybe don't go to Yurfies very often, but how about Patrick Corbin giving up a run in the first inning? I would get behind that. And then maybe Patrick Corbin, it is bumped down by 0.5, but 17.5 pitching outs over there. Let's go to the Severino side of things. The Washington bats have not been great. 23rd ranked, 225 batting average from the right for against right-handed pitching. So if you wanted to back Severino in this spot even more, I do like that. And then you consider the fact that he doesn't have a ton of history against these Washington bats, but in that little history, not many people have even got a single hit on him. Looks like, I don't even know, 1 hit in however many at-bats that is. That's some pretty good history. So the fact that they don't hit righties very well and they got a pretty good history against Severino and not getting hits, again, I'm definitely backing the Mets in this situation. And then here are some hit rates. Again, last 20 days is what I'm sorting by. You want to be looking for some Mets overs. So the first one here is Pete Alonso. Looks like it's pretty solid, money too, plus money some places. If you want to look at the over bases, I probably wouldn't mind that. And then maybe if you want to look at some unders on the national side of things. But again, here are some hit rates. Pause the video, make this go slower so you can maybe find some winners in here. All right, so this is going to be the last game we go over in this video. I'm going to make another video that goes over the later slate of games. That way we can get, people getting to watch these ones. As you're watching these ones, I'll be making the next video. So I don't want to always do that, but I'll get more efficient as we go. These have been taking me a long time to deep dive into each individual matchup and also give my ideas on, a bunch of different bets throughout the games. But this is Brewers versus Phillies, 4:05 start. Plus 160 for the Brewers, minus 185 for Philly. It'd definitely be easy to say Aaron Nola is pitching versus, Aaron Ashby, Aaron versus Aaron. We had Jordan versus Jordan too, so kind of battle of the names today. But Ashby looked horrible in his 3.2 innings so far this year. 4.91 strikeouts per 9 is bad, 2.18 whip, and then 9.82 ERA. Obviously, that is not good. But Nola last year specifically didn't particularly play well or pitch well against this Brewers team. They have a history against him in their last matchup that was last year. I know that can be a little bit different, but plus 160 on the money line. If you have any sort of confidence in Aaron Ashby, maybe you go flyer on the plus 160 money or maybe the 1.5 spread because Milwaukee's bats are good against right-handed pitching. So let's take a look at Aaron Nola real quick. Obviously, his ERA is way lower, 3.03 than Aaron Ashby. I'm comparing them to 3.03, definitely solid. 1.03 whip, definitely solid. And he's been pitching great this year. But again, that head-to-head match here last year where they gave up 7 runs, that's interesting to me when you get big plus money on the Brewers side of things. Then you start thinking about, okay, Brewers 5th in terms of batting average, 262 batting average, and then a 263 batting average for the whole year, and that's second rank. So Milwaukee bats have been really good, and Aaron Nola is really good too. So again, much easier to go to Nola side of things and back Philly here, but if you want to get crazy with it, I don't care. I don't mind going to the Brewers side, especially if you think Aaron Ashby is going to give you any sort of plus pitching. All right, so this is going to be the last matchup we talk about in this video. I'm going to make another video for the later slate of games. Eventually, this will be all one video as I get more efficient in breaking down and going in depth on each individual matchup for the day. But I do want people to be able to see the breakdowns of the earlier games before the earlier games start. So today it's going to be 2 different videos. Maybe that'll be for a few days until I get, again, more efficient in kind of my breakdown of each individual game. But I want to give you guys as much information as possible, so I hope you appreciate that. So let's talk Brewers versus Phillies. 405 is going to be the start here. Phillies, huge favorites, minus 185. Plus 160 for the Milwaukee side of things. You have to look at the pitchers to really get, understand why this is. The Phillies are rolling out Aaron Nola, who's obviously been great. We all know his name. 3.03 ERA, 1.03 WHIP. Nola has been great. On the other side of things, Aaron Ashby, who's pitched 3.2 innings this season, and got absolutely crushed in those innings. 9.82 ERA, 2.18 WHIP. You can kind of understand why, this big discrepancy here. But Milwaukee has some good bats. They hit right-handed pitching really, really well, and they have a pretty good history against Aaron Nola. So if you want to get crazy with it, if you have any sort of confidence in Aaron Ashby, I would not, twist my arm, and I might go for the plus 160 money line here, or, at the very least, Milwaukee plus 1.5. I'm not saying I'm doing that, but, I could see how you could get there. So let's look at Aaron Nola. He's been great. Obviously, you see the outs right here. You see the hits right here. Doesn't give up a lot of hits. He's been great all year. But you go ahead and back to September of last year. I know it was last year. Things changed, but that wasn't too long ago. 8 hits allowed, earned run of 7 earned runs, and Milwaukee won that game. So interesting there, kind of an idea. But again, you have to have any sort of confidence in Aaron Ashby, and I'm not sure if I'm going to get there. With all that said, I do have a kind of a lean on this game, maybe even official play, just because it's got great odds on PrizePicks. It's going to be on the Phillies side of things, going up against Aaron Ashby, who's, again, been horrible. And I'm going to be attacking the left-handed pitching. So I'm going to go to Sosa, 341 batting average against lefties, 2 home runs, 6 RBIs. He is on PrizePicks right here for 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs, and he's been killing that line. So I got him pulled up right here. This is against everyone all season. 63% hit rate, going up against a crappy pitcher, I guess if you want to say, in the limited time. And against lefties, it's about the same, 62% hit rate. He's been doing it, pretty consistently recently too. So minus 130 average sportsbook odds. So hey, I'll take my odds right there. Sosa looking really good. So that's going to be our plays for this game. Sosa, 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. And obviously we talked about our leans and other things. All right, so that's going to do it for this video. It took me a long time to do deep dives on all these games. I'm going to make hopefully a second video attacking the later slate of games, but I do want to get this out before, the Red Sox game starts, before that Houston game starts, so at least a few people can, take advantage of that breakdown. I'll get more efficient at making them. If I have to start getting up at 5 a.m. rather than 8 a.m. to make these things, if it's going to take this long, then so be it. But I think I'll also just get more efficient at breaking down, my process of doing this. This is kind of like a trial week as I've kind of shifted my the way that I make these videos. Rather than just talking about 2 plays, I want to talk about, in a broad scheme of things for baseball specifically, because it can be so volatile. But here are some plays we talked about. Obviously, we talked about a ton more leans, not like official plays, but here's some good ones for sure. Blanco over 5.5 pitching strikeouts. Sosa, we just talked about him, 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs against Ashby. Jordan Hicks maybe under 2.5 earned runs allowed, and then Patrick Corbin hopefully gets shelled by the Mets like he typically does, or really just gets about everyone. Under 17.0 pitching outs, or potentially look at his Yurfie. We also talked about Miles Mikolas, maybe under his fantasy score on PrizePicks, or if you can find his earned runs at 2.5, I'd probably be looking at the over on that. And if you do like a fantasy score type thing on PrizePicks, maybe combo that with like a Houston hitter, maybe Yordan Alvarez or something like that, and take their over, because that correlates pretty well. The plan, again, is to get a second video out. If not, though, at the very least, we're obviously going to be talking about this in my Discord. Check out the link in the description for my Discord. We're always talking sports, talking props, talking different plays, attacking different discounts and things like that. So you can check that out. Use the Dub Club link down below and just sign up through Dub Club, and then link your Dub Club account to your Discord account. And you'll just get automatic access to this. So a bunch of like-minded people in here. We always have a lot of fun in here. But also maybe look at the ping comment down below. If I don't end up having time to make a second video here, I'll put some plays for the later slate of games in the pinned comment. So check that out as well. So that's going to do it for this one. Let me get this out for you guys before this Red Sox game starts. And again, I apologize. Trial week here. Bear with me. I'll get better and more efficient as making these deep dive kind of videos. But that's going to do it. Like the video, subscribe if you are new. I really appreciate that. And then comment something down below. I love to hear you guys. I definitely read every single comment that comes in for sure. Eventually, I want to start doing some games and stuff in the comment section, have some competitions, give some money away, as we continue to grow here. But again, right now my focus is getting these videos more efficient so I can get them out earlier and we can attack a ton of different value and just bring you guys as many stats and stuff as possible to get you guys an edge for the day. But yeah, I appreciate everyone. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.